These are Alabama's serial killers. Sid Jones. A lot of information about Jones's life is still unknown, including when he was born. Presumably a native of Alabama, he was a member of the 10th Cavalry Regiment at one time. He is accused of shooting and killing W.S. Mosley, a deputy sheriff, while he was assigned to Monterey, California. Jones was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. He was then sentenced to death for the murder of another prisoner, most likely Cleve Waters. He confessed to 13 killings and named his victims in a note he left in his cell on the day of his execution, June 25, 1915. He mentioned he committed his first murder in 1907. Daniel Lee Siebert. He confessed to at least 5 murders and was found guilty of 3. He admitted to being the cause of at least 12 deaths when questioned. The first known murder committed by Siebert was in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was found guilty of manslaughter. Siebert was charged with killing 2 women in Los Angeles, California in 1985. He killed a student and her 2 kids at the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind in 1986. The school was concerned that Sherry Weathers had not been in touch with them after more than a week-long absence from courses. Police discovered her dead body and the bodies of her 2 children during a search of her flat. Another student who had vanished from the institute was also discovered during investigation. Linda Jarman was killed and discovered dead in her apartment. In addition, he was accused of killing the waitress he had been seeing, Linda Odom. Her remains were found in March after she was reported missing in February. Siebert was linked to her car by fingerprints. Authorities thought Siebert was also responsible for the death of Cheryl Evans, whose body was discovered at about the same time in Calhoun County, Alabama. Siebert was accused of Beatrice McDougall's 1986 death in Atlantic City, New Jersey. While he was in prison, he confessed to have killed at least 12 people. Police were informed that an art teacher named Daniel Spence had an interest in Sherry Weathers, and he was questioned in relation to the crime. Spence was identified by a fingerprint check as Daniel Siebert, who was wanted in San Francisco on assault charges and had a 1979 manslaughter conviction. Siebert was on the run for the next 6 months. After calling a friend who reported him to the police, he was caught in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. When he arrived for work the next day, he was detained. In the capital cases involving Germain and Weathers and her children, Siebert was found guilty. For the killings of Weathers and her children, he was scheduled to be executed on October 25, 2007. At the time, Siebert was receiving treatment for cancer of the pancreas. Hours before it was scheduled to take place, Siebert's execution was postponed. On April 22, 2008, he passed away from cancer-related problems at Holman Prison, which is close to Atmore, Alabama. Thomas Weisenhand. Between 1963 and 1976, he killed at least 4 women in Mobile County, Alabama. The last of Willie and Emma Weisenhand's 4 children, he was born in Pritchard, Alabama on January 29, 1947. His mother, a controlling woman who would frequently argue with and assault her physically weak and drunken husband, was the head of his low-income household. She also urged her children to follow in her footsteps. These fights frequently happened when Weisenhand's father tried to impress his wife, who consistently turned him down because he was intoxicated on moonshine. She supported Weisenhand, whom she was overly protective of, and saved her rage and hatred for her husband. Up until the age of 7, Weisenhand was forced to share a bed with his mother. He remained in the same bedroom as her until he was 16, at which point, according to his sister, he had turned angry and gloomy. By the time he reached adolescence, Weisenhand was also always with his mother, who never left his side. A psychologist said that Weisenhand hated her. Lexi Haynes, a 72-year-old widow, was shot and killed in Pritchard on May 6, 1963. The murder weapon was discovered by police in an abandoned area close to Weisenhand's family home. The 16-year-old Weisenhand was suspected right away since he had just been accused of robbing a blind woman. The robbery accusation against Weisenhand was later dismissed on a technicality, according to a retired Pritchard police captain. When Weisenhand was questioned by police regarding the murder, his family gave him an alibi, stating that he was home when the shooting took place. Weisenhand and his companions had been playing with a stolen firearm prior to the shooting. Later, a witness claimed that Weisenhand had drawn a bullet from the handgun, raised it, and declared that someone would soon be killed. Nevertheless, Weisenhand was never tried for Haynes's murder. He became an airman in the U.S. Air Force. On October 25, 1965, Rose Covington, a 22-year-old working in the U.S. Air Force, was attacked by Weisenhand. In the Air Force Base's finance office, he struck her unconscious with a metal ashtray. Covington spent 2 months in the hospital after suffering serious head and face injuries. She testified at his trial that she had never met him and had no idea what he looked like. Despite his repeated denials of the incident, he was found guilty on March 14, 1966, of assault with intent to commit murder and given a 20-year prison sentence with hard labor. In addition, he was dishonorably discharged from the Air Force, forced to forfeit all pay, and had his rank lowered. After serving the first part of his sentence in Fort Carson, Weisenhand was moved to an unnamed federal prison to finish out his term. He was given release on November 28, 1973, after his sentence was lowered to 10 years in 1970. Patricia Hitt, a 28-year-old mother of 2 who worked in a convenience store in Mobile County, Alabama, was attacked by Weisenhand on November 21, 1975. After approaching her and beating her, Weisenhand shot her in the head. For this crime, 2 other males were first taken into custody. Weisenhand abducted and killed Vanora Hyatt, a 44-year-old female convenience store employee in Mobile, on April 16, 1976. Hyatt was abducted from the convenience shop and brought to an old house covered in kudzu vines. Weisenhand killed Hyatt and left her body next to an abandoned cottage. He went back to the crime scene the next day and mutilated her body. After that, he stole her wristwatch, which he subsequently presented as a gift to his wife. 23-year-old Cheryl Lynn Payton, a convenience store clerk at a compact store in Mobile County, was kidnapped by Weisenhand on October 16, 1976. She was taken at gunpoint by Weisenhand, who then drove her to a secluded forested area where he essayed her in the front seat of his pickup truck. He then shot her in the head, killing her. Before running away, he carried her body into the neighboring woods. Weisenhand returned to the scene of the crime on October 17 and mutilated Payton's body. He slashed her abdomen and severed a significant portion of her breast. Nevertheless, he was apprehended by police following a pursuit after being seen close to the crime site. He confessed to all of his crimes in detail when being questioned. In addition to confessing to killing Payton and deforming her body, he also acknowledged killing Hilt and Hyatt in the preceding months. He then acknowledged killing Haynes while he was a teenager. In addition, Weisenhand admitted to assaulting Covington and assaulting his wife, as well as 2 other women, but he did say that Payton was the only person he had essayed. In the Mobile region, Weisenhand's murders attracted notice and media coverage. His trial was therefore relocated to Birmingham. His trial for Payton's murder started on August 1, 1977. Weisenhand entered a not guilty plea by reason of insanity. The jury convicted him of capital murder on August 9. He was given a death sentence on September 7. 26-year-old Kenneth Lynn Curry, the son of Verona Hyatt, abducted and robbed a car driver in September 1977. He said he only did that to get to the same prison where Weisenhand was held so that he can get revenge on what he did to his mother. After more than 30 years of evading execution because of successful appeals and prosecution negligence, Weisenhand was finally set to be executed on May 27, 2010 by lethal injection. He had coffee, chocolate pudding, orange drink, American cheese, French fries, and chicken leg quarters for his last meal. He refused to say any last words. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.